I've been waiting for this day for more than 500 days.
Riverside ground, Bonanza 677 Bravo Echo at Waypoint, looking for taxi with Runup.
Bonanza 677 Bravo Echo, Riverside ground, Charlie, current, wind 280 at 4, altimeter 3003, taxi to the Runup, runway 27 via Golf and Alpha.
27 Runup via Golf and Alpha, and I do have Charlie, thank you. Riverside ground, Bonanza 677 Bravo Echo, curious if I can request flight following with you on the ground.
Bonanza 7 Bravo Echo, what's your destination?
It's Papa Victor Foxtrot.
Or 7 Bravo Echo, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll just depart you to let the tower know what direction you want to go. We can do it that way VFR, and SoCal approach will be on 125.5. You can contact them airborne for that.
Not a problem, I appreciate it, thank you. Trim is on. Set for takeoff. Flight controls. That looks good. Everything's in the green. 3 gallons to go. 74 degrees outside. I'm charging 15.9 volts. Fuel pressure. Oil's in the green. 1700. Back check. Destroy both. Cycle the prop. Vacuum is in the green. Amps and volts. Good. Fuel flow is good. Oil pressure, oil temp is good. Idle friction is good, and we'll check it back here at idle. Feels good. Course locked. Riverside ground, Bonanza 677 Bravo Echo, Runup complete, ready to taxi.
Attention all aircraft, Riverside Airport information, Delta is current, wind 270 at 4, visibility 10, ceiling 2,500 broken, 3,100 broken, 5,000 overcast, temperature 23, dew point 19er, altimeter 3004. Bonanza 7 Bravo Echo, runway 27, taxi via Alpha.
27 via Alpha, 7 Bravo Echo. Bonanza 677 Bravo Echo, holding short of 27.
Bonanza 677 Bravo Echo, Riverside, Tower State direction.
We'll go ahead and take a southbound departure.
Bonanza 677 Bravo Echo, southbound departure approved. Wind 250 at 4, runway 27, cleared for takeoff.
Gauges in the green, airspeed alive. Gear is up.
in April of 2022, when I purchased this aircraft, it had a tired Continental IO-520 in the original propeller, along with a nearly original panel. And instead of doing an overhaul and pouring money into the existing IO-520, I wanted to upgrade to the Continental IO-550. This engine upgrade, along with several other upgrades that just made sense at the time, meant that the plane was going to be down for a while for some major surgery. Today, after that major surgery has been completed, we fly more than 1,000 nautical miles from Riverside, California to Port Townsend, Washington. The weather at the time I departed wasn't the ideal weather that I had imagined for months leading up to today. It was overcast with some rain showers in the area. I departed knowing I may need to land and wait for the clouds to lift some more. I had two main imperatives that would determine if I needed to land or I could proceed. The first, I must maintain VFR. The second, I must maintain ground contact. Even going VFR on top of the clouds, I wanted to be able to see the ground in the case of any problem that might require me to land quickly. Having spent hours upon hours watching videos by the Air Safety Institute and reading several books by Mike Bush, I was cognizant that I didn't want to end up trapped with rising terrain and low ceilings, as well as the data points around maintenance-induced failures, MIFs, and early time engines being at a higher risk of failure than one that's been maintained and operated consistently for hundreds or thousands of hours. My initial plan was to depart Riverside and head directly north through the Cajon Pass, making my first and only fuel stop in Placerville, just east of Sacramento. After departure and spending the better part of an hour finding a way over the San Gabriel Mountains, combined with a thirsty IO-550 chugging fuel during its rich of peak break-in period, I decided to pivot to 2 fuel stops fairly quickly. The first fuel stop was in Porterville, California. Landing runway 30 at Porterville and fueling up was relatively uneventful, but when I went to depart off of runway 12 due to some taxiway construction and light winds, just after my wheels had left the pavement, I realized one of my gas caps was not fastened properly, and I was rapidly dumping fuel out of the wing. I executed a quick 180-degree turn and landed immediately on runway 30. Several folks on the field came over and checked on me shortly after returning to the fuel pumps for another 10 gallons of avgas. This was one of 2 events that I had multiple instructors say would happen to me at some point that I got to experience pretty quickly. More on the other event later. Shortly after my second departure from Porterville, I picked up flight following as I transitioned through the Fresno Class Charlie airspace.
Fresno approach, Bonanza 677 Bravo Echo.
Bonanza 677 Bravo Echo, Fresno approach, Fresno altimeter 299er8.
299er8. I'm about 50 miles to the south, looking to transition over the field at about 6,500. Just don't want to be in your lane.
Bonanza 77 Echo, Roger Squawk, 0457, you are radar contact.
0457, 677 Bravo Echo.
Later transitioning through the Beale Air Force Base Class Charlie, until radar services were terminated around Redding, California. Just north of Redding, I had my second encounter with clouds that were lower than I would have liked them to be. That, combined with the remoteness of this area, had me on my toes, and I was constantly keeping an eye on my glide radius and looking for spots where I could land quickly if I needed to. I was so happy to have had a mountain flying course and mountain flying experience under my belt. I had originally planned to land at Medford, Oregon for my second fuel stop of the day, but the nearby terrain, combined with the clouds in that direction, had me reconsider. I ended up electing to land at Crater Lake Regional. Crater Lake does not have self-service fuel, but they had the fuel truck pulled up shortly after idle cutoff, and I was ready to depart. After getting my takeoff clearance and starting my ground roll, I had my door pop open. Airspeed wasn't even alive yet, so I notified the tower fairly quickly, grabbed the first taxiway off, and resolved the issue. 30 seconds later, I was again cleared for takeoff from that same runway intersection, and we were just under 400 miles from having my plane home to Washington for the first time ever. The final leg was a straight line with favorable winds. From just north of the California border in Crater Lake to just south of the Canadian border in Jefferson County was just under 2 hours. The landing I had thought about all day was this final landing at Jefferson County. The runway length of 3,000 feet, and the fact that the area is surrounded by trees, had me cautiously optimistic. This wasn't the shortest runway I have landed a Bonanza on, but it was the second shortest. I was greeted immediately after landing by my family, who got to see the plane for the first time ever and helped tuck it into the hangar. Let me know what kind of content you would like to see in the comments below, like, and subscribe.